What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another Walking Dead video. Today's video we're going to cover the opening credits of The Ones Who Live. Now, we had gotten this earlier in the week, but it turns out it was an unofficial leak, so I decided not to do a video about it. But since we had the season premiere today, which was a mind-blowing episode and just a great reintroduction of Rick and Michonne, bringing him back into this world and seeing the things that Rick has been through, it was an amazing episode, and I cannot wait for the next one. But I wanted to break down this opener that we got for the opening credits because it was pretty damn awesome too. Just the style in which they did it, the music that was involved, and just how they brought it back to us, how they brought these characters back, and the things that they're going to introduce as they get into these next episodes. So breaking it down, jumping right into it, opening up with this first shot, we get this silhouette of Rick and Michonne off in this kind of sunset-esque type of setting, just reminding us that they were this great couple that has been since separated by the years gone by. So it's an amazing reintroduction of these characters. Then going to the next one, we get kind of a callback, kind of reminding us also the events that led up to this episode or led up to this series was the bridge explosion that Rick had inevitably had to blow up to take out walkers that were heading towards the communities, posing this huge threat. So he was already what he thought was mortally injured, and he was going to take himself out along with all these walkers at the same time. So he then blows up the bridge, much to the horror of everyone from our Alexandria community, especially Michonne. Then you had Maggie and Daryl. Just they could not believe their eyes what was happening during this event. Moving on, we have another shot of the bridge explosion just from a further distance, that gap in the middle where he sent all the walkers over the edge. And then we get our shot of a CRM flag. It almost looks like propaganda type stuff where they're just trying to more or less advertise how much of a great place this is, how great it is to be a part of this community and what is the benefits that could come with it. And then we get was more than likely kind of top secret information because we get the overlay of the United States with the locations of Portland and Omaha. And Omaha, as we know, was destroyed in the world beyond, where the outer walls were breached by explosives as a herd was being led to them by the CRM, because apparently they decided that Omaha had just become too dependent on the CRM. They were draining resources and just making up every excuse in the book to do away with the community of, I want to say, over 90,000 people. So they just doomed 90,000 people to probably a horrible death, being scattered out into the apocalypse again, trying to figure out how to live, because maybe a lot of these people had no idea how to survive outside of this. A lot of them could have been there from the get-go and could have been in this confinement where they were safe. So just, again, dooming so many people to probably horrible, slow deaths, and CRM really proving what kind of people they really are. The next one, we get a shot of the same map, but probably through a special filter that shows the location of the Philadelphia community, the home base of the Civic Republic and their military. And this is a community and a location that's been kept very secret, and you've seen in bits like Fear the Walking Dead and The World Beyond the lengths that they're willing to go to keep this location secret, kill people they come across that might pose some kind of threat down the road. And so they keep this location secret, as they are in some ways, I think, a little bit paranoid, but you just never know who's going to pose a threat and who's not. Then we get a close-up of that shot. We see this, it says CRP and security corridor. Then we get several spots that say jump point something, but probably different locations where they have stockpiles of gasoline, food, emergency supplies, because we know that they have kind of establish these different areas that are kind of emergency stockpile type things. Then we get this shot. This is the culling facility, the area that's Rick and all these other survivors are being deployed to lead walkers in, and they will take them out from there because they kind of got this brick wall with these slits in it to use as a form of protection to take them out as the walkers come to them. The CRM is bringing these walkers in, and they're bringing this to this area because they know they're going to be mindlessly taken out by the culling facility workers. Then we have another shot of a map, just general information, I think, about the CRM, maybe some different locations that are probably a part of another secret facility or what have you, because we did have in the World Beyond that other facility, that school is just one of the many outposts of the CRM, and this is probably just one of those maps depicting that. Then we get kind of another close-up where we have an area that's marked as ruins, so this could be an area that could be maybe used for further development down the road, or maybe an area that, as it's marked as ruins, it's just, this is kind of establishing it as a place that is too far gone that they can't do anything with. Then we get kind of a scan over of Rick's letter that we heard him read at the end of Walking Dead. This is the letter that he puts into the bottle and tosses into the river as he's being captured again, hoping and praying that it makes it to them. But we're going to get into that because this was brought up again in the first episode of Ones Who Live. Then we get a shot of all of their munitions that we're going to probably see them use with that green gas that we saw them using in The World Beyond, something that was in development, and something that we're going to see in The Ones Who Live, where we see Michonne with her group of people and they have to run as this stuff's being deployed. Now with this is obviously the bottle that Rick threw into the river, and what I wanted to talk about real quick was I did a video probably about a month ago discussing the possibility of why Rick has been gone so long, other than the difficulties of him trying to get out, is that his family, his home is being used against him, and we did get that confirmed within this first episode because it was revealed that Lieutenant Donald Okafor actually knew about this letter. He actually was able to fetch it from the river with the help of his men and whatnot. And he did scout locations around Rick's home, around where they picked him up. And they, took surveillance or what have you of Rick's family to basically use it as a way to keep him in line, to let him know that if he escaped and he actually successfully made it home, they would go after him and go after his family. So this is, like I said, this is a video I did probably about a month ago, maybe less, where I discussed the possibility of this. Maybe General Beale did it, but it turns out that Lieutenant Okafor is the one who has this information. He read this letter. He actually quoted some of the letter lines back to Rick as they got into it, because Rick comes to find out this information from Pearl Thorne. During one of his escape attempts, she prevents him from going because she's actually trying to save him. She has come to form somewhat of a respect, or at least a minor friendship with him, to let him know well enough that if you escape, they will come after you and they will come after your family. So when he finds out this information, he confronts Okafor and they get into a little fist fight. And he brings up this letter and brings up what he knows. Michonne, he knows her name, he knows where they come from, that they've been under watch, and just different things to really convince Rick that you're not going anywhere, and if you try again, we will go after your family. So it really adds to the darkness that is the CRM. And so that was interesting that came up as something that I had talked about previously. But enough of that little rant. We'll move on to the next one. This next one is just it looks like an over-the-head shot, or from Rick's point of view, probably from when he was first brought into the CRM, because they probably had to tend to his stomach wound that he got from the rebar going through it and everything right before the bridge blew up. So they're probably tending to that, and this is just from his point of view. They may use this as a memory, possibly, but I don't know. This might just be something for the opening credits. And the next one, we get a shot of the CRM battle helmets, which I think is pretty badass, actually. I don't know if this is something that is meant for the more elite squad, or what they're going to do with it, but I just think it just looks pretty cool. It almost reminds me of G.I. Joe style type stuff, but we have seen different variations of CRM soldier helmets, and like the first ones we got, they look kind of dorky, not gonna lie. I did not particularly care for those. Then we had the ones where they had like the gas mask looking feature where they had the canisters on it and everything, and so this one, I would say I like it above all of the others. So it looks more badass and looks more intimidating. And so I like the direction that they went with this one. Then the next shot is kind of a clipping from a CRM Republic Tribune. It's their local newspaper, and talking about CRC candidates call for oversight of CRM. So maybe someone's looking into the military section of it, because they did discuss it in a article featuring, I want to say his name's Terry O'Quinn, who plays the part of Major General Beale, who talks about how the CRM military is very different from the actual Civic Republic, and that they have little to no knowledge of what goes on in the military part of it. So there could be them looking into it. Then the last shot is of Rick and the Ones Who Live title card, We see the silhouette of him in full military gear with his gun. And so I really enjoyed the way that they did this, the lighting and just the imagery that they provided us for this opening credits. It was pretty on par, I'd say, with the Daryl Dixon one and what the Walking Dead original series opening titles eventually come to look like. But I just liked what they did with all the lighting and imagery and whatnot. But anyways, if you enjoyed this little breakdown of the opening titles, please be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, and of course, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Help me make that push to 1,000 subscribers this year. It would mean the world to me. So until next time, guys, take care. Bye.